if President Trump had not done this, they could have had a nuclear capability within months, weeks, not months. And if they had a weapon, they would use it. To all those who don't believe that, you're stupid. You're a fool. And I hate to be so harsh. People got Hitler wrong. Donald Trump is the right man at the right time.
If this week of war has shown us anything, it is this. Nobody knows what they're doing. The more you know. Watching everybody in Washington run around like chickens with their heads cut off, contradicting one another, not knowing the talking points, and just coming right up out of their face holes with some of the dumbest crap I have ever seen in my life. Speaking of crap, let's get right to this one. Old keg stand Pete Keg's breath. Here he is, wearing his fancy little American flag hanky, trying to virtue signal a little patriotism, doing his best Patton impersonation. He's cosplaying as fucking Patton here. Meanwhile, he's a third string Fox News host, dude bro, who was in the Army Reserves. Donald Trump thought he looked like he was straight out of Central Casting. But Central Casting for what? A fraternity party? Fox News fraternity bro, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War Crimes.
America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our turn.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt while the Secretary of War is speaking, but I just want to point this out. I'm not going to sit there and explain to you the pantomime and all the ways you can tell somebody's lying, but cottonmouth is a first sign indicator that somebody is full of shit. And this bro right here has got the cottonmouth something furious. I mean, dude, you got a bottle of water right here. I apologize. I will let him continue. I just want to point that out because you're going to be seeing a lot of cottonmouth coming up.
With maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars.
The reason why we have politically correct wars and we follow rules of engagement is because a bunch of wise men back in the 40s after World War II, seeing over a dozen years worth of war and millions of dead bodies, decided, you know what, we need to have rules of engagement, not to protect other countries, but to protect our own troops. Because if we don't follow the rules of war, we don't follow the rules of engagement, we don't do it politically correctly, wank, 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 then they don't have to either. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And here we got Cottonmouth Pete over here lying his ass off, telling everybody to shut the fuck up. We're not doing any more woke wars. Now, on day one, right after the strikes, Israel struck first and then we followed. And Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, comes out there and basically tells everybody that.
A critical point is that this was a defensive measure, a defensive operation.
Yeah, a first strike defensive operation. That makes a lot of sense.
And why is that? I took some notes, and this is not classified, so I'll tell you what I think is important. Israel was determined to act in their own defense here, with or without American support.
So Israel struck first in their own defense. Okay, gotcha. Was Iran shooting at them? No, we were actually in the middle of a peace deal while he sent half the military fleet out there to surround Iran. No, we're doing peace. We're doing peace. I'm the peace president. I am peace.
Why? Because Israel faced what they deemed to be an existential threat. Iran was building missiles at a radical and a rapid clip.
They're the radical Democrats. That's right, Mike Johnson. They're the radical Iranians. You tell them, Mike.
To the point where our allies in the region could not keep up. As you know, Iran has long vowed to take out Israel, wipe it off the map, and they have long seen that as a critical threat to their very existence. Because Israel was determined to act, with or without the U.S., our Commander-in-Chief and the administration and the officials I just named had a very difficult decision to make. They had to evaluate the threats to the U.S.
So basically what he's saying is Israel drug us into this war. And it looks like, from what I gather, it was us that bombed that middle school that killed all of those 160, 180 young girls because we needed to defensively preemptive strike.
And they determined, because of the exquisite intelligence that we had, that if Israel...
Exquisite intelligence? You mean the 10-year-old outdated intelligence that said that the IRGC was hiding underneath of those schools? I guess Israel is right, man. All those damn dirty Muslims, they love to use human shields.
Fired upon Iran and took action against Iran.
Look at that cotton mouth.
Then they would have immediately retaliated against U.S. personnel and assets. We have troops in harm's way, and we have many Americans in the region, and that was of a great concern. If we had waited for all of those eventualities to take place, the consequences of inaction on our part could have been devastating.
I got an idea of some inaction. How come nobody has taken a hold of the scruff of Bibi's neck and told him no? They are our client state in the Middle East. But it seems more like it's the United States of Israel. I mean, do we not have any agency in this? Obviously, Donald Trump doesn't seem to have any. Now, here's Marco Rubio basically saying the same shit.
The second question that's been asked is, why
Cottonmouth.
now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. The order...
Don't they know better? They're supposed to just take the missile barrage from Israel and just shut the fuck up. You are cannon fodder. Just accept your lot in life. The audacity of this shit. Did you really think they weren't going to shoot back?
And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed.
So we did a preemptive defensive strike. That's not how preemptive and defensive works. You know, contradiction in terms, my friend. But you heard what he said. We knew Israel was going to strike first, so we decided to strike Tehran and kill a bunch of little girls. I mean, how can we expect Donald Trump to give a shit about foreign little girls when he doesn't seem to have a problem molesting young girls here in America? I'm just saying, you know. It's amazing that a man who does not wait for consent certainly knows how to manufacture consent. Just saying. Now, a couple hours later, Donald Trump is being questioned in the Oval Office. Mr. President, are we Netanyahu's bitch? Is this the United States of Israel or what? What's going on? What's up, man?
Forced your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand.
Oh.
You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics.
Oh, they're the
And
lunatics.
it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that.
Very
And
strongly.
We have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully.
Great negotiators. Of course, they failed this time, but they are great negotiators.
It's very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand.
So, no, it wasn't Israel that forced our hand. We started this war. Oh, okay, gotcha, Don. Gotcha. I'm glad that you clarified that. So now Marco Rubio is the next day and he's being asked about who started this war. And here we go. Let the lion commence. I wonder if old Marco is going to have problems with his cottonmouth again.
That Israel was going to strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get.
Yeah, your statement is false. So that's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked.
Okay.
It was her that asked.
Were you the one that? Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said, you were asking me that. You that
Yes.
follow-up. And I said no. I told you this had to happen anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic missile program, that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ability to conduct these attacks.
Yep, they were using human shields. That's why we had to blow up all those little girls. Human shields, just like they do in Gaza.
Does Congress have to weigh in? Is the president defending Iran, and does Congress
No.
have to weigh in?
What-
was
what-
there an imminent
what-
threat? Did you tell lawmakers that there was an imminent
There
threat?
absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked,
By
that they would
who?
immediately come after us. And we were not going to sit there and absorb a blow before we responded, because the Department of War assessed that if we did that, if we waited for them to hit us first after they were attacked, and by someone else, Israel attacked them, they hit us first.
Israel attacked
and
them.
we waited for them to hit us, we would suffer more casualties and more deaths.
I mean, I hope I played enough for context. You know, you got to play the whole clip just to make sure you get the context. But I think I played enough to prove that what he said the day before is not what he said right there. So yet again, Cottonmouth lying his ass off. Okay, so it's hilarious, but it's also very scary. We've got Bibi Netanyahu. Now look, Mike Johnson and Marco Rubio, they say that Israel strikes first. And then Donald Trump says, no, it was me that forced Bibi's hand. He's my little lapdog, even though I love sitting in Bibi Netanyahu's lap. He's got very soft thighs. Well, the word gets out, and Sean Hannity has to reach out to Bibi Netanyahu and say, hey man, you know, we need to do a little cleanup here. So do you mind coming on with me and doing a little cleanup? No problem, Sean. I'm happy to help.
A lifetime worth of study, in my view. And I want to ask you this, you know, there are people that say, well, the Prime Minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. And as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything, number one, but I want to get your reaction to that.
Okay, first of all, the laugh, yikes, man. This is fucking Dracula shit over here. But nobody pulls Donald Trump into anything. Honey, if anybody's got any dirt on Donald Trump, is this son of a bitch right here. All of those hard drives and camera recordings in Jeffrey Epstein's house, they ended up somewhere. I'm thinking they ended up in the Knesset. They ended up in the Prime Minister of Israel's office, and maybe he pulled out a video and showed Donald Trump. I mean, hell, man. I think that Donald Trump is very easily subject to bribes. I mean, Miriam Adelson has given him over $300 million. But maybe Bibi's got a little dirt on him. But that laugh, let's just hear that laugh again, because that shit is spooky AF.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world.
He knows that he's got Donald Trump in a box. There is no getting out of this. Either he pulls out and declares victory and everybody calls him a loser. He puts military boots on the ground and it gets much, much worse and we get bogged down in a quagmire. Or worse yet, somebody, I don't know who, drops a nuke on Tehran. I know that we don't ever want a madman to have a nuke, but I know that for certain that son of a bitch sitting right there has over 400 nuclear weapons at his disposal. Who's been doing a genocide for the last 2.5 years? I'm just saying, y'all. Jesus Christ. So now everybody's on the same page. Donald Trump, he started this. He's not being led around like a dog. It's Donald Trump's decision to do this shit. And Pete Hegseth, he's not really happy because reporters are starting to ask him about the dead soldiers that are coming home. So far, we have 6 that we're owning up to. I feel that that is vastly undercount. We're just not talking about it. And Pete absolutely does not want to be talking about it because when a reporter asked him about the dead soldiers, he says, when a few drones get through or tragic things happen, you know, like dead soldiers, dead American troops, it's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad. The press reports on dead American soldiers. That's their job. That's what they do, no matter who the president is. Secretary of Whiskey Breath, Pete Kegstand over here, is concerned about the president looking bad. I got an idea. Maybe you and the president stop doing bad shit, and maybe we'll stop describing you as bad people. We got a little bit more from Whiskey Pete here. We don't back down. We don't do woke shit. We don't follow the rules of engagement. We're America. Fuck yeah.
That we cannot sustain this, which is a really bad miscalculation for the IRGC.
Look, I can tell you right now that Iran and the IRGC have no delusions about winning this war. Their objective is to make it as painful as possible, not just for America and not just for Israel, but for the entire world. $150 to $200 a barrel, $7 a gallon on average. But, you know, we got to make some sacrifices for the war effort. And the IRGC, they made a miscalculation. They thought they could win this thing. But let me tell you here, buddy. Let me tell you here, bro. I'm not going to stand for it. Haven't you seen my American flag napkin?
You see, there's no shortage of American will here. We remember and honor our fallen.
And then we forget them. We memorialize them. It's so sad. Very sad that they died. Now, moving on. Let's get past it, folks. Back to war.
Those 6 that we will soon welcome at Dover, who gave everything for their country in this mission. We remember them.
I mean, he's given so much. I'm sure that he has got such reverence for these dead American soldiers.
But we remember them by rededicating ourselves even more fervently
and kill more of
to
them.
This mission. Our commitment to our mission objectives only increases as our advantages continue to increase.
Cottonmouth yet again.
We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to.
I don't know about that, dog. I mean, we're spending $1 million, $2 million per missile. They're spending 18 grand on suicide drones. They could probably sustain a annoyance war for quite a long time with these little drones. Iran is 4 times the landmass of Iraq. They have 3 times the population and a much stronger military, fortified military.
Again, our munition status only increases as our advantage increases.
I mean, did ChatGPT write this shit? What is this, like shit-ass slam poetry? We didn't do a regime change, but a regime change sure did happen. They've been saying death to America, but America delivered death on them. I was drowning in a whiskey bottle last night, but I had ChatGPT. Isn't my speech great?
Our capabilities? We have only just begun to fight.
We've only just begun to fight Iran. I guess ChatGPT slipped in a couple of song lyrics.
And fight decisively. Having a chance to hear from Admiral Cooper. If you think you've seen something, just wait.
'Cause you ain't seen nothing yet.
The dumb, politically correct wars of the past were the opposite of what we're doing here. They had vague objectives.
That's projection right there. They had vague objectives. Honey, their objective was to make a peace deal with us until Israel bombed them. And then all bets are off, man. You can't bring them to the negotiating table and then start bombing them. That's not how it works. I mean, it's literally what Donald Trump did to Qasem Soleimani. Come to Kuwait. We're going to negotiate. And then we blew him off the face of the map. And yet again, Iran was measured in their response. They waited several days. They warned America what military base they were going to strike. And then they struck it. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more than what Israel did with Tehran just a couple of days ago. Y'all remember this? Trump's picked to lead us military, accused of chanting "Kill all Muslims." Talk about all hat, no cattle. How about all hat, no brain? He's also got some crazy religious convictions. No matter what Pete Kegsbreath says, his tattoos are anything but typical symbols of Christianity. He has got his fucking, crusader cross here on his chest. He's also a theocratic Christian fascist. He has got a crazy pastor. He's got all of his major generals praying in a room with him and passing that on down the line to his troops. And the troops are like, my superior just told me that we're fighting a holy war for Jesus. What in the absolute fuck? Well, this is where it stems from. This guy right here. So Pete joined the president on this little jaunt where they're talking to Latin American leaders. And Pete's selling point is, come on, man, we're all Christians here. We all love Jesus. We just love dropping bombs for the Lord, man.
We don't have to live with communities flooded with drugs or violence or cartels and gangs. We can seal our border, and we have to for our citizens.
Wait, I thought we already sealed the border. Donald Trump said the border is shut down. What are we worried about?
Share a hemisphere and geography.
Our
we share
hemisphere.
Cultures, Western Christian civilization. We share the.
Hey, look, I don't want to sound like a theocrat over here, but it seems like we're bombing for the Lord again. Here we go.
These things together, we have to have the courage to defend it. And we have a commander-in-chief in our country who's set that compass heading.
Maybe it is not hair product that is slicking his hair back. Maybe that is just the lube that he uses to ram his head all the way up Donald Trump's rectum. Meanwhile, we got President Poopy Pants over here half asleep talking about poom, poom, bombs falling. They're very strategic. They're very accurate. That's why we blew up that little girls' school, because we have such accurate weapons.
But we're working with you to do whatever we have to do. We'll use missiles. If you want us to use a missile, they're extremely accurate. Boom, right into the living room. That's the end of that cartel person.
Pume? Fuck. What the hell are we doing, man? Pume, pume, bing, bong. President sound effect over here. But what he's saying is preemptive striking and murdering of people. By the way, the dude looks like he's half asleep here. Seriously. Our ancient, decrepit Fox News grandpa who has got bruises on his hand, cankles, McTaco tits, as the ladies from the I've Had It podcast says, and some kind of, I don't know, evil growth on the back of his neck. He's barely able to hold on, just gripping the podium for everything his poor little rhinoceros hands can muster, talking about pume, pume, pume in the living room.
But we'll do whatever you need if you want. A lot of countries don't want to do that. They say, oh, sure, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather not have that. I believe they could.
I'd rather not blow up anybody because we could have retaliation. I know you don't care about that, Mr. President. In your Epstein ballroom in the White House, I'm sure you'll be just fine. But if you do that, then they will shoot against us. Very much like what Iran is doing to all of its surrounding countries. Dumbass. Pume, pume. Justice Department officially eyes case against Cuban leaders as Trump floats friendly takeover. You know, he wants to do exactly the same thing to Cuba, what he has done to Venezuela, except worse, because Cuba has been under siege for the last couple of months. No food, no fuel, no medicine. And if they have no fuel, which they were getting from Venezuela, but now they're not, Mexico has tried to send them some fuel and some supplies, but Donald Trump has threatened to put more tariffs on Mexico. And now with no fuel in Cuba, that means no flights can come in because they need to refuel their aircraft so they can leave. And Cuba is literally being starved to death. Very much what Israel did to Gaza. Blockade, full on, y'all are fucked. And now Donald Trump is talking about a friendly takeover because I'm sure the siege has been so friendly so far. So what does he want? He wants to put the Batista regime back in power. You got Marco Rubio waiting in the wings to be the king of Cuba. Donald Trump is like, as soon as we're finished with Iran, Cuba's next. I have a feeling that Iran is going to take a little bit longer than they think, but I also think that Donald Trump is not going to wait for Iran to be over. I think he just wants another win. He thought that what he did in Venezuela gave him a victory. I mean, according to most of the news, including some of the left-wing news, they gave him credit for being able to kidnap a leader of a sovereign country and imprison him in New York City. And Donald Trump thought, hey, man, I got great coverage in the press over that, so let's just do that again. Look, Castro has been dead for a while. Castro's brother is gone now, too. So what do you want to do? You want to go and kidnap another leader and then put in another puppet dictator? I don't know if it's going to be Marco Rubio, but ultimately that's what he wants in his friendly takeover. So there have been a lot of sycophants that have been brought out to help sell this Not a war, but a military incursion, a military action. I don't know, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks over here. But then they decide to bring on the charmer himself in his shiny brown suit, looking like a polished turd, Stephen Miller here. And they think that this is the guy who's going to help sell this war. Let's see how the Stephen Miller charm offensive does.
That he believes America's awesome military might should be used to protect and defend America's interests. Not to surrender the world to our adversaries.
We're not going to surrender the world to our adversaries. America is awesome. Don't you understand that? Everything is a question. I sound like a 14-year-old girl, but I've got lockjaw and I'm very angry inside because I have no hair and my wife constantly makes fun of the size of my penis. But we are very awesome and we're going to do whatever we need to do. We're not going to do wokeness anymore. We're going to bomb Iran. Okay? Is there any other question you have?
No, America first means America will be the greatest, most unquestioned, unmatched power in the world. And it means we will...
America first means bombing everybody and stealing their shit. Our policy is plunder, okay? Haven't you got the memo?
Defend American lives. And yes, we will avenge American blood. Iran has...
I mean, we shot first and they shot back and they killed some of us. So now we need to avenge them. And around we go. Don't I sound like ISIS? Look, they bombed us 40 years ago. Now we get to bomb them now because of revenge. No, I'm sorry. It's not revenge. It's avenge because we're the Avengers, okay? Look at me looking like weak-ass Hawkeye over here.
Waged war against the American people, this regime, for 47 years. They took our embassy hostage.
Dude, we're talking about something that happened 47 years ago. We're avenging from 47 years ago. I mean, let's not forget that we overthrew their democratically elected leader in 1953 and put the Shah back in power and said, no, you can't have democracy. Monarchy, that's what you're allowed to have. And after 25 plus years of monarch dictatorial rule, they overthrew him, they kicked him out, and now instead of a democracy, they went straight theocracy. We helped manufacture that. So when they kicked all those people out of the embassy and they kept those people hostage, and let's not forget, they were going to cough up those hostages for Jimmy Carter, but Ronald Reagan called him up and says, well, you need to hold on to him for a little while. And then when I become president, then you let him go, and I will make sure that I send you weapons, and we'll call it the Iran-Contra affair. I mean, so many great things came out of Reagan, lest we forget. But yeah, man, that is why we're doing this, because of revenge from 47 years ago. Yeah, man, that's going to help sell this war.
All of that American blood spilled by this regime. And President Trump for years has said, we will not allow a regime that sheds the blood of our citizens, that
40 years ago,
menaces our people,
40 years ago,
that spreads terrorism around the world, that trains proxy armies. We will not allow that regime to have missiles that can reach our troops, that can reach our bases, that
can reach our troops that are only 100 miles away because we have stationed ourselves right at their border.
Someday in the future could reach the American mainland.
Right around the corner. They're only 2 weeks, according to Steve Witkoff, man, who is a real estate lawyer or some real estate agent that's Donald Trump's bro. He says that they're a week away from a nuke. I mean, that doesn't sound like Bibi Netanyahu at all. I think we've heard enough from the turd burglar here, Stephen Miller. But you get the point. His charm offensive is not very charming. I'm just saying. Now, this one is pretty funny. Is it war or is it a police action?
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
This isn't a war. We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
Combat operations, says the human thumb with no neck. Man, I trust him. Trust the thumb.
War is hell and always will be.
Strategic strikes are not war.
I guess the Congress people that you saw in that clip are all convinced that it's not a war, because that would mean that they would have had to have done their job.
Honey, they're not convinced of anything. They are bootlicking for the president. Now, you saw Lindsey Graham just a second ago in that clip, but he has got his own ideas. Seems like everybody's got an agenda for this war, not a war thing. And he lets his feelings be known in this particular interview.
This is a religious war. Who wins it at the end of the day? Do the radical Islamic terrorists who want to kill all the Jews because God told them to? Who want to kill me because I'm an infidel? Who want to purify Islam?
Oh, John McCain, I wish you was alive today. He was such a strong man. Me little old Aunt Lindsey over here. John, oh honey, if you could see it. I miss you, my love. I miss you so much.
So what we're facing right now is a moment of decision that will set the course of the future of the Mideast for
1,000 years. That's kind of harkens back to the Third Reich, doesn't it? Doing a religious holy war, you know, to set up the future for the next 1,000 years for the, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, Fourth Reich. Is that right? Is that what we're talking about, Lindsey? He's got a little bit more to say, this psychotic holy roller.
Ronald Reagan sent Marines and sailors to try to police and deal with the Lebanese Civil War. They were at the end of the...
Okay, so we're talking about Ronald Reagan. We're talking about over 40 years ago. We're talking about America sending Marines into a foreign nation to help them work out their issues because, you know, we are the world police after all. And the people of Lebanon did not like that very much. And old Aunt Lindsey here is still holding a grudge.
So I'm calling on President Trump today. Join Israel to attack Hezbollah. Avenge the Marines. America never forgets. Those 220 Marines and 18 sailors' families, we want to go after the infrastructure that killed your loved ones.
We want to send in more troops to die to avenge the death of Marines that died 40 plus years ago. We need to avenge Israel. We need to go in there and protect Israel and avenge the death of Marines from 40 years ago where their families aren't even alive anymore. Donald Trump, you need to do Operation Vengeance is Mine, saith the Lord.
RGC assets in Beirut as I speak. President Trump, come up with a new operation called Simplify. Fly with Israel and go after Hezbollah, who has American blood on its hands. Not only take the mothership of Iran down, also take the proxy of Hezbollah, settle the score, even the account.
I mean, the dude sounds exactly like ISIS. 40-year-old vengeance. Let's get it. They got blood on their hands. Let's go get some blood on ours. Let's do Operation Simplify. Go get them, Mr. President. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go to war. None of my family's going to go to war. Nobody I know is going to die in it. If some American soldiers got to bleed, then they got to bleed because that's the only thing that gets me erect anymore. Come on now, Mr. President. Man up. I'm not gonna. Mehdi Hassan's got this to say. To be clear, the most influential pro-war voice in Trump's ear was briefed in Israel by Israeli intelligence and sent back to make the case for Trump. By the way, Mehdi, it's not pronounced Israel, it's pronounced Israel. And we've got the Wall Street Journal here. To help make the case on Iran, Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agencies. They tell me things our government won't tell me. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. So Lindsey Graham is going to Israel to talk, Israel, to go talk to Benjamin Netanyahu and teach him how to walk the dog that is Donald Trump. I mean, this is a snake eating its own fucking Christian tail over here. I love fighting holy wars, don't you? Speaking of which, U.S. troops were told war on Iran was all part of God's divine plan. 200 troops sent complaints to superiors using extremist Christian rhetoric to justify the war. U.S. military commanders have been invoking extremist Christian rhetoric about biblical end times to justify involvement in the Iran war to troops, according to complaints made to a watchdog group. By the way, just popped in my head. Just a couple of days ago, there is a picture of Donald Trump in the Oval Office surrounded by evangelical Christians, all laying hands on him, praying over him, as if he is Cyrus, the imperfect vessel. But we will pray the Lord's Prayer on him to protect our sweet prophet Donald Trump. That way we can do the holy war and bring on the end times. Come on now. Why do you think we're praying so damn hard? One complaint identified as a non-commissioned officer told the MRFF in a complaint viewed by The Guardian that their commander had urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. It's insanity, man. We have turned into a Nazi theocracy. And it ain't just Whiskey Pete, man. We've got a congressman here. His name is Kramer, and he is getting questioned by Code Pink here. She asks him why we're doing this war. He's got a really interesting response.
Iran, I'm confusing.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there are several good reasons for us to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities. First of all, because they're willing to use it.
There was an Iran nuclear deal signed in 2015.
Yeah, thank God we got out of that.
Oh, God, yeah. Thank God we got out of that, man, or else we wouldn't be able to do this war.
Remember, he agreed to a deal that allowed Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
Get all the way the fuck out of here. That is literally not the deal. The deal was so they would not have a nuclear weapon. The JCPOA got all of the atomic energy inspectors to be able to go in at will anytime they wanted, not just ours, but Europe as well. They had a multilateral deal to not have nuclear weapons and to allow inspectors to come in. Well, Obama made sure that they could have a nuclear weapon. Go fuck yourself, you psychotic lying piece of shit.
Thank God we intervened in that.
Is Donald Trump God's vessel now? Because he's the one that tore up the JCPOA. So is that what you mean?
No, they weren't. And,
they were licensed to have, to enrich to a level that would allow a nuclear weapon.
No.
Insane.
The U.S. Republicans kept saying they almost have a nuclear weapon. They almost have a nuclear weapon. It's not true. They don't have a nuclear weapon. And I have one question.
Thank goodness they don't. And
does
I think it's a
Israel
good
have
idea.
Nuclear weapons?
Listen. That
is a fine question. Does Israel have a nuclear weapon? I don't want to leave you in suspense here. Yes, they do. The United States and Israel are ironclad partners.
And Israel are ironclad partners. We need them in the Middle East. We need them to be strong. We have a biblical responsibility to them as well as an allied responsibility to Israel. We
have a biblical responsibility. Guys, we are in a secular nation, part of the First Amendment, freedom of religion, and also freedom from religious rule. No. We have biblical right. We got orders from on high. I know the Constitution and, and all the democracy and stuff, but, there's a higher authority, and his name is Jesus Christ, and he speaks to me every night when I get down on my knees and I put my hands together and I say my prayers really hard. Jesus speaks to me and he tells me, bomb Iran. For Israel. Switching gears, we go back to Marco Rubio, and he is now begging American television networks to help bring Americans home because we're obviously not going to do it.
The State Department is now actively, as it has been now for the last 72 hours, implementing our plans to help Americans in the Middle East be able to depart.
I mean, I guess you didn't have a plan beforehand. Fucking Secretary of Cottonmouth over here lying his ass off.
Rest assured, we are confident that we are going to be able to assist every American. As I told you right now, we have about a little over 1,500, maybe closer to 1,600 Americans requesting assistance. And we know that we're going to be able to help them. It's going to take a little time because we don't control the airspace closures. That said, There may be more people out there that need help. We need to know who you are. So please, I'm asking the media, publicize the phone numbers and the website, because we need people to call in so we have their name, we have their contact information, we have their location and their request. So as these opportunities begin to open up, we can act very quickly to reach them and get them out of harm's way.
So we got the shoulder-shrugging Secretary of Cottonmouth, Little Marco over here, begging the media to help them get all of the stranded Americans who are in the Middle East out. We could have had a plan before we started. We could have evacuated all those people, but you know, it's a holy war. We got to do what we got to do. So we got Jonathan Karl here, who is following the advice of Little Rubio, and he leaves a phone number here. And when Jonathan Karl actually makes the phone call, this is the response he gets.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio urged news organizations to put the 24/7 State Department emergency line out so that Americans who are stuck in the Middle East can get help getting out of the region, register their names and not. But listen to what happens when you dial the number.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time. There are currently no United States evacuation points. Please continue to check the embassy's website for updated information.
So,
Jesus Christ.
The bottom line is, if you're looking for help, you're stuck in the Middle East and you can't evacuate,
don't count on the United States. We're the world superpower. We could do anything except protect American lives. You know, I'm trying to muster up a little bit of empathy for you rich motherfuckers who are enjoying life out there in the United Arab Emirates, you know, having a blast on your billionaire's holiday. But, you know, I also feel bad that there are people who are stranded there who can't get out. You can't count on America. Let's just see that again. I just want to hear that one more again.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government. Honey, I think we've all gotten that message at this point. Meanwhile, while the war is going on, Donald Trump is concerning himself about the Epstein ballroom and his lovely drapes. By the way, this is a Medal of Honor ceremony, and he's obviously really concerned about the welfare of the American military.
We're adding on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down right now, you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful...
A big deep hole that I'm going to throw you down in. You're all cannon fodder. Enjoy.
In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than...
I'm saving so much money on the curtains, folks.
I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold.
No.
But I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains.
I'm just going to beat my head against the wall. I wonder if I could put a dent in it. How many times will it take to crack the plaster on my wall? Just bam! We are so cooked! It's a big, beautiful war, almost as big and beautiful as the ballroom. Hey, look at the drapes. Don't they look great? I always like gold. I love gold. President Goldmember. We have got all of the bootlicking MAGA sycophants out there running cover. It's not a war, I promise. It's not a war. We're war fighting. It's a war, folks. People are dying. It's going to happen. You know, it's what happens in war. But we got Anna Paulina Lunatic over here. It's not a war. Stop asking about the war. It's not a war. It's a police action.
Government and regime has been responsible for the deaths of thousands upon thousands of Americans.
40 years
ago. Not to mention state-sponsored terrorism. And so did the president do the right thing? Has he been consistent in this? Absolutely.
Can you just tell me really quickly, where have they killed thousands of Americans in America?
I didn't say they killed thousands of Americans in America. I said that they have been responsible for thousands of Americans being killed. And I think that that's easily something that you can verify. I don't know, state-sponsored terrorism for starters. Why don't you?
I don't know.
Are you serious right now about that whole thing? I'm not going to list out exact specific locations. They've literally been responsible for sponsored terrorism.
Are you talking about the Iraq war where the U.S. invaded?
You can start out by the three that they just killed. Okay, the whole point of your network, if you want to actually talk about the facts here, I'm giving you the facts. But I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about something that's commonly accepted and known.
Congresswoman, you don't have a good understanding of the
Well, I'm the one that's getting the briefings, not you. You're a pundit offering your opinion because you want clickbait,
not at all.
I'm
asking you a question.
No, not at all.
We can talk about the fact that Obama sent millions upon millions of dollars to the Iranian regime, or do you not want to address that?
I mean, she could filibuster with the best of them, can't she? Hey, I can't answer a question if I can't hear it, right?
Or do you not want to address that because it's not supported by your opinion and your network?
No, not at all.
Is this really even something that we're going to actually get to substance here, or are you going to continue to attack us?
No, it seems like you just want to filibuster. It seems like you don't really want to have a good faith conversation.
Or you just don't like what I'm saying.
No, we would have invited you on the air.
This happens every time I'm on with you.
Yeah, and you keep coming on every time, and you keep stating a lot of things that are incorrect.
Because
the United States launched an attack on Iran.
About it, except for you.
The United States launched a war against Iran right now. Iran retaliated, in which American members
targeted military.
You can call it whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, the Iranians responded and killed 3 American service members. So what we're trying to get at is you make an assertion on this air that it's not an invasion when America sends fighter jets and Israel sent fighter jets into another country.
Boots on the ground are not going to happen. Congress will not vote on war with Iran because that is not something that we support.
Military boots on the ground. By the way, I hate that expression. Military soldiers on the ground. It's not boots. They're not being invaded by boots. But the possibility of having American soldiers in this war is very distinct now. Oh, we're going to vote against that. Yeah, honey, I'm sure you'll get right on that when the vote happens. Let's just see what side she lands on. My God, man, could she be any more full of shit? I'm so glad we elect the best people. We really do. Speaking of the best people, we got the new Secretary of Homeland Security. Maybe being the Director of Homeland Security was his payment for being able to promise the American people that this is not war. It's targeted military strikes, man.
You'll concede this is war. You'll concede this is war.
We haven't declared war. They declared war on us, but we haven't.
War. Secretary Hegseth.
We haven't declared.
Just now, you said this is war.
They called it war.
They've called it war. What I was saying. Okay, well that was a misspoke. What I was saying.
That was a misspoke. I have misspokes all the time. Come on, man. That was a misspoke. It's a war. Well, you just said it was a war. It's not a war. Come on now. Who said that? You did. I didn't say that. We have it on tape. No, you don't.
And they've declared war on us, but war is ugly. It always has been ugly. But we're.
How would you know? Ex-plumber, ex-MMA fighter, Senator Micro Mullen over here. War's hell. It smells funny too. I don't think that's war you're smelling, dog. I think it's bullshit that you're shoveling. We got any more from this middle midget over here? Yes, we do. He's on with Fox News doing a little stolen valor. It's pretty awesome. I'm sure that real military out there have got plenty of things to say about this tiny little tyke.
On what we could expect. War is ugly. It smells bad, and if anybody's ever been there and been able to smell the war that's happened around you and taste it and feel it in your nostrils and hear it, it's something that you'll never forget, and it's ugly. And fortunately, you have President Hegseth, or I say President Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth, that has got a great relationship with President Trump, and President Hegseth's been there. He's done that. I'm
guessing that's another misspoke, President Hegseth. Mark Wayne Mullen never served a day in the military. He does not know what war smells like. He inherited a plumbing business from his dad. He was a millionaire by the time he was 25 because he got his business from his dad, and he does a little part-time MMA fighting on the side. I wonder if he's still throwing hands. Maybe we should ask the Teamsters Union head, Sean O'Brien. Y'all remember that video where he wanted to throw down Bernie Sanders going, "Shut up and sit down. Act like a senator, for God's sakes." This is now the guy who is heading up the Department of Homeland Security. I feel secure. I don't know about you guys. Mark Wayne Mullen had his own personal Vietnam. It was unclogging the toilet in the Oval Office. You know I like to flush stuff down, so I called up Mark and I said, "Mark, I've got a problem. in the Oval Toilet. Can you do something about it? Well, yes, sir, Mr. President. I know all about that. I am always doing battle with bullshit. Okay, now this guy right here is a senator from Montana. His name is Sheehy, and he is doing his part. I mean, Democrats aren't doing their part because they're defending the Ayatollah.
Yeah, no one is saying Iran has been doing good things. I mean, the Iranian leadership. But
well,
if
there's actually
this
quite
is
a
about
few Democrats and folks who are defending the Ayatollah's right to continue to rule and defending his existence. So I think
who is defending the Ayatollah?
Well, let's see. We've had Elizabeth Warren's former campaign manager out there literally chanting "Death to America" on stage yesterday.
Nobody was saying death to America, and it certainly wasn't Elizabeth Warren's former campaign manager. I don't know what orifice he pulled that out of. Maybe you should ask Mark Wayne Mullen and see if he can unlodge it.
I don't know who that is, but Elizabeth Warren is not defending the Ayatollah. But the reason I ask
Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib who are saying that.
They're Muslims, so they're definitely defending the Ayatollah of Iran, even though neither one of them are from Iran. But, you know, Muslim brown women, of course they're going to back up the Ayatollah.
This is wrong, actually, with the New York Times publishing an obituary describing me as an avuncular cleric.
I think that was the Washington Post, but again, that's not a lawmaker, that's not a Democrat who is saying that this is what they did. But the reason I ask why this is happening is because we hear a bunch of different reasons from the administration. It doesn't seem like there's anyone settled on one reason. I mean, you just said regime change. Secretary Heggs had said this morning it's not a regime change.
But the regime sure did change. Now, this piece of shit here, he decided to get involved in something else. And trigger warning, folks, this is kind of ugly. A United States Marine, somebody who has actually seen combat, came into this meeting to give everybody a piece of his mind, saying that we do not want to fight Benjamin Netanyahu's war for him, which is exactly what we're fucking doing. It is obvious, it's plain as day, everybody knows it, including this war veteran. And the Senator Sheehy decides to join in these cops, taking a hold of this man who we are supposed to respect for his service.
America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows you accept as leaders. Out. This is wrong.
Look, I don't know how any Marine feels about this. My dad was a Marine. I wonder what he feels about this, watching this man getting manhandled for speaking his mind. But, you know, according to like Whiskey Pete, he would probably be considered, you know, a dissident at this particular point just for speaking out against this bullshit war for Benjamin Netanyahu.
And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
Man, he's holding off these two guys pretty strong. He's tough, man.
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine. Stand up for America.
There's Sheehy at the bottom there, pulling his leg.
For Israel.
His hand.
Oh! God damn, man, you heard that, right? That wasn't his hand. That was his arm. That's where it snapped, right there. It snapped his arm. He's begging for the commandant to do something. He is begging us not to go to war for Israel, to fight their shit-ass holy war. And Sheehy here, that's his back right there. He decides to get involved. That's a fucking war vet right there you're manhandling. I thought the Republicans were supposed to respect the military. Here you are, breaking their fucking arm. Oh, you've done enough. I think you should leave.
Let go of your hand. Let go of the door.
And now you're shit-talking it.
A senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Sir. Okay. Control your Senate. Arm stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Hand stuck. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
You're a cunt. You are a fucking coward and a cunt. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay?
No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Jesus Christ, man. We are falling apart, y'all. I'm sorry I had to show that to you guys. I just wanted to show you what kind of person that senator was. Now, here we got, look, I am not giving Marjorie Taylor Greene credit. You do not have to give Marjorie Taylor Greene credit. But she is speaking out louder against this war than Chuck Schumer and Hakeem fucking Jeffries are. I mean, it shows you what kind of cuck Schumer he is. You are in the cuck chair, my friend. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is outshining your ass on this. It's pathetic.
This war, because like you said, the president has made no case for it. We live our ordinary lives and we don't feel threatened by Iran. We don't walk around thinking that in any moment an Iranian ballistic missile is going to land on our head. And I was out there on the front lines for Make America.
Yeah, you were out there on the front lines, honey, but you had a year left and you quit early. You could be on those front lines right now, but you chickened out. You got scared and you left. And now you're throwing little Molotov cocktails from the side on the Megyn Kelly show here. Look, I appreciate what you're saying here, and you are correct in what you're saying. But you also gave up the power that you had. You could have done something. You could have been a voice on the floor of Congress against this fucking war. But instead, you're sitting in your goddamn plush living room after you got $25 million for being a congresswoman for 5 years. Not a bad payday.
Great again. And Make America Great Again was supposed to be America first, not Israel first, not any foreign country first, not any foreign people first, but the American people first. Now, as we have seen over 100 little girls killed at a school from a bomb, and I don't know whose bomb it was, but they're dead today because America and Israel attacked Iran. So that's not really good for Iranian women. And our president is saying that the Iranian people are all of a sudden going to topple their regime. Well, I don't think the Iranian people are going to be toppling their regime when they're getting blown apart by the United States and Israel in an unprovoked attack. And yes, it was unprovoked. And Pete Hegseth said this morning, Megan, he said that we didn't start this war. But I hate to argue with the Secretary of the Department of War.
I will.
America and Israel definitely started this war, and you can't lie that away to the American people. And so, you know how I feel right now? I am irate. I am furious about this. We have seen enough of our American troops dead and murdered for foreign countries. And now we've had 4 dead and murdered, just like you said, for Israel and for the Iranian people, not for the American people. And I don't want to see any more dead
Israel,
and murdered.
honey.
When we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven, what does that mean his decision making is?
Look, I am really getting tired of being ruled over and having to take advice from the Christian fucking Taliban. Donald Trump doesn't think he's going to go to heaven, so why is he fighting my holy war for me?
He already said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think.
Honey, he was saying that when you were in office, when you were all the way up his ass, when you were singing his praises, man. What the fuck are you talking about? Look, I appreciate what she's saying here. What she's saying is mostly correct, but at the same time, you gave up your power and you still have not acknowledged the one on top, the one who is at fault. It is Donald Trump. I hate to argue with the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Don't argue with him, honey. Point your ire where it belongs.
And he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more.
September.
I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported? And
Honey, he's the same guy. You were just living in a fucking dream world. You were drinking the Kool-Aid of the MAGA cult. But now you're woke all of a sudden. Oh my God, Marjorie Taylor Brown, she went woke. Look what happened to her. How the mighty have fallen. I mean, honestly, I would have let her in if she'd have been an 8, but she's a solid 6, and I just can't do that.
A year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for
Marge, it's not a war. I am peace. It was a military strike. Haven't you heard the rumors?
America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
Honey, it's Donald Trump and his boy, Bibi Netanyahu. Stop beating around the fucking bush. But I do appreciate the passion. Of course, I don't appreciate the policy. You are a psycho right-winger. And later on in this interview, she bashes trans people, and she says that Donald Trump is now supporting trans people. I can't give her a win. I can't give her a victory, because every time I think about doing it, she opens up her mouth and says some dumbass shit. Now, not to be outdone by the psychotic Kool-Aid drinking MAGA types, we got Chuck Schumer over here. I'm totally against the war, but, what are you going to do? I mean, he started the war before I even knew it was happening. It all happened so quickly.
Leader Schumer, do you think Israel, forced the U.S.'s hand here, boxed the U.S. in on this?
Look, no one wants a nuclear war. No one wants a nuclear Israel. But we certainly don't want an endless war, plain and simple.
Chuck, I'm sorry. Maybe that was a misspoke. No one wants a nuclear Israel. I hate to break it to you there, dog. We've already got a nuclear Israel. They've got a plenty. We probably gave them some.
Simple. What did I say?
Nuclear Israel.
Oh, no. Got it. Let me say that again.
Oh, no.
No one wants an endless war, but we certainly don't want a nuclear Iran.
Thanks for clarifying there, Cuck Schumer. What did I say? I'm old, My mind is starting to leak out of my ears. Iran, that's the name of the country. Well, he did hold the War Powers Act vote. We had, of course, the rotating villain paradigm yet again, where we always seem to have the exact amount of defectors, whether they be in the Senate or the House, to make sure that the Democrats always lose. Y'all remember when we had the government shutdown back in October, November of last year, and we needed 8 senators to cross the aisle to vote with Republicans, and magically we got 8 senators to cross the aisle and vote with Republicans. It's almost like it's on purpose. I mean, I'm seeing a pattern here. If we need to lose by 4 votes, we lose by 4 votes. And we definitely do not want a nuclear Israel. Oh shit, Iran, sorry. I keep getting those countries confused. We're in it. Democrats won't rule out giving Trump more money for the Middle East war. Chuck Schumer's already talked about promising an extra $50 billion for more weapons. Maybe he voted against the War Powers Act, but he knew that he was going to lose that fight anyway, so it doesn't cost him anything to throw his vote against it. But meanwhile, we've got fucking CIA Slotkin over here talking about, hey, we're in it now. I mean, look, I was against the war before it started, but, after the bombs starting dropping and we're in it, might as well do something good with it, right? Kill some more brown people and give Bibi what he wants. And we're not ruling out giving Trump more money. You can't have health care. You can't have a social safety net. You can't have education. You can't have food stamps. You can't have dick. But we can increase the military budget by half. Y'all ain't never getting fucking health care. And just so you know, the Congress people who could have stopped Donald Trump with the War Powers Act, I just want you to know their names. This gentleman right here is Greg Landsman from Ohio, and he is a Democrat. The follically challenged Democrat joined 3 others, Henry Cuellar, Jared Golden of Maine, and Juan Vargas of California. They stood with the GOP for a 212 to 219 vote against. So that means if the 4 had voted with the Democrats, it would have been 216 to 215. God damn, man. My favorite representative in the House, Democrat Henry Cuellar. Anti-abortion Henry Cuellar. MAGA voting Henry Cuellar. Build the wall Henry Cuellar. The guy that Nancy Pelosi came down and helped get elected when he was facing a primary challenge from a proper progressive. That guy. The guy that just got a pardon from Donald Trump. We know what side his bread is buttered, and it's being buttered real nice by the president. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being the rotating villains this session. You're doing a great job. Now, I would like to finish it off with this one because I don't want to leave you guys with a bad taste in your mouth, although I don't even know if this will help. But Jasmine Crockett had to vacate her seat in the House in Texas as a representative in Congress when she was running for the Senate against James Tallarico. But the person who replaced Jasmine Crockett and will be a congressman in the House of Representatives is this gentleman, Dr. Frederick Haynes. And this clip right here I'm about to play you was recorded on October 8th, 2023. That's one day after the Hamas attacks in Israel.
We got to be pro-Israel. Yeah, we got to do that. Or we get in trouble. Well, I'm coming to get in trouble. Israel, and I'm going to quote Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter says that Israel is engaging in apartheid with Palestinians. And so the Palestinians who don't have the weaponry of Israel, the Palestinians don't have the financial backing from the United States that Israel has. And so they throw their rocks and shoot their arrows, and Israel is able to bomb them and kill them. Watch in the news the disparity between Palestinians being killed and Israelis being killed. It is totally unfair.
That was on October 8th. He says, watch the disparity. Well, we have been watching for the last 2.5 years, and the disparity is unfathomable. They killed 1,200 people and kidnapped a couple of hundred Israelis. Out of the 1,200, half of them were Israeli soldiers and the other half were civilians. It is horrible. It is wretched. It is a war crime, and I hate it. But at the same time, Israel has probably killed half of the Gazan population. Right now, they're admitting to the Gaza Health Ministry's number of 70,000 confirmed dead. 1,200 to 70,000. But that number right there is a low number. I remember back when the thing started and the Gaza Health Ministry was saying that, well, you've killed 15,000 children. Well, you can't trust that number because the Gaza Health Ministry always lies. Well, now they're agreeing to that number because they know that the number is so much higher. Estimates are anywhere between 300,000 and 700,000 dead in Gaza in 2.5 years. It is a fucking genocide shit. It is a Holocaust. So when this man says, watch the disparity, he was not wrong.
But this country's going to stand on the side of apartheid because that's its track record. It stood by apartheid in South Africa because it created apartheid in this country.
That guy just got elected. We've got an election coming up. I'll take 10 more of these guys. We need at least 10 more of these guys. There are a lot of fighters out there that are ready to join Congress. We have got to get rid of this old, decrepit guard. The CIA Slotkins, the Chuck Schumers. We have got to get rid of this centrist, milquetoasty, let's compromise with fascist loser Democrats and replace them with guys like that. People like Rashida Tlaib, people like Ilhan Omar, who have seen some shit in their lives, who actually have skin in the game, as opposed to these elite sitting back on high, untouched by the unwashed masses, telling us that, you know, one more war ain't going to kill us. I know that we just cut 18 million Americans' health care, but we can afford this war. I know we just cut your food stamps, but we can afford this war. I know that 700 rural hospitals have closed, but we can afford this war. I know that we haven't raised the minimum wage since 2009, but we can afford this war. I know that monopolies are gripping us and the billionaire class are robbing us fucking blind, but we can afford this war. One more war, just one more. This time it'll work. How many times have they told this lie to us? I've watched it over and over and over again. It's always the same. It's always the same lies. They're not even original enough to come up with new lies. It's weapons of mass destruction all over again. They hate us for our freedom. It's all the same thing. They hate us because they hate us. They hate us for our freedom. They were going to bomb us first if we didn't bomb them first. We're doing it again. And the uniparty is on board, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. Well, now that the war started, meanwhile, we've got 1,300 dead. We bombed 13 hospitals already. I'm going to put that one on Israel. They love bombing hospitals. We've bombed 4 grade schools. We've killed countless children, countless civilians, blown up considerable amount of infrastructure. We're just laying waste. We're turning Tehran into Gaza. They're doing it again. And the government is lying to you. The news is lying to you. The news is fully on board with this war. They love a war. There's only 2 groups of people that make money during a war. That is 24-hour news channels and military contractors that make the bombs. Every time they see one explode, they know that that's money in their pocket and their stocks go through the roof. Every time they see a helicopter go down, they know that they're going to have to replace that helicopter. It's the same old thing since World War I. We provide the bombs and then we provide the bandages. We blow you up and then we fix you up. We send you home limbless. But at least you made it home, better than those guys that died in the trenches. We are not the world police. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the world. Donald Trump probably won't make it out of 2026 as old and decrepit as he is. They are wild, listless warmongers. And we've got a controlled opposition in the Democratic Party that is willing to bend over backwards to give the president what he wants. When it comes to war, they're all on board. Every last one of them is present and accounted for because they know their wealthy elite class that give them donations so they can continue to run for office. This war is what they want. Damn the people, damn the constituents. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you're going to be paying higher gas prices. Your food prices are going to go up. Your wages will not. Your health care will not magically apparate. It's gone. But, you know, Israel wants a greater Israel. Donald Trump wants an American technate. He will either bomb you or kidnap your leader. It doesn't matter. He's already got the tax cuts for the rich. It's already done, man. This is all that's left. And Donald Trump wants a legacy. He's got his ballroom to build. He wants to build his Arc de Triomphe in Washington, slap his name on it in gold, I'm sure. He loves gold. But if you need something, if you want to be able to afford a house, live out the American dream, having a home, being able to raise a family, being able to have some money left over to save, spend on vacations, you know, the real old school American dream. You'll never have that. You're lucky to get education. And if you do get some education, you're going to have to go into debt. But hey, can't declare bankruptcy on that debt. But, you know, if you're a rich billionaire type, you can declare bankruptcy on whatever you want. And you'll get a government bailout. Not for you, though. There's only one group of people that comes out of a war unscathed, and that is the wealthy elite Epstein class. They will never be touched by this. None of their kids, none of their family members will ever be touched by this. War is old men arguing and young men dying. And we are about to send a whole bunch of troops to go fight a war on the behalf of Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. Hey, MAGA, you're going to get what you want, but I don't think you're going to like what you get. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.